Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel where today we're going to be breaking down the Packers' new 53-man roster after a very interesting day of cuts yesterday where several players who I thought would have made the team were released and some others that surprised us in the fact that they remained on the roster, as well as more drama involving the kicker position because of course there is. So let's go ahead and go here. We have the Sports Illustrated has a very nice breakdown position by position of who made the roster, who was released as well. So they're going to go through that, my surprise, and then go over a few transactions on the Packers official transaction page that include almost all the players that have been signed to the practice squad as of this very moment. So let's go ahead and go through. Quarterbacks we have here, roster cuts. A.J. Dillon and Tyler Davis plays a season-ending injury reserve, meaning they would not play the entire season, which absolutely sucks here. So very, very poor news for those guys, especially A.J. Dillon. He's such a fan favorite in Green Bay. Probably wouldn't have made the roster here, but unfortunately, that next singer really got him there. So go ahead and quarterbacks here. Who made the 53-man roster was, of course, Jordan Love, the newly played highest paid player in the NFL. And newly acquired backup quarterback Malik Willis from Tennessee are going to be the two quarterbacks on the roster, with Sean Clifford and Michael Pratt being released. Clifford was also signed to the practice squad. Michael Pratt was signed to Tampa Bay's practice squad earlier today. So I thought Pratt was the better of the two of them, but Clifford has been in the system longer, so I guess that is the reason why we retain Clifford over Pratt. Running backs, we have that made a 53-man roster. Josh Jacobs, Marshawn Lloyd, and Emmanuel Wilson made a roster for the second straight year. Jacobs is going to be the bell cow back because Marshawn Lloyd didn't really play much this preseason due to injury, so we don't really know what he has going for him right now. But Emmanuel Wilson had another great preseason and camp, so looking forward to him in the touches he gets. Merriweather and McCrary were released. I believe one of them was signed to the practice squad. We'll check on that in a bit. And A.J. Dillon was on injured reserve, which absolutely sucks. But Marshawn Lloyd will not be listed on IR. He is going to be on the active roster to start the season. So that is good news for the third-round rookie out of USC. Receivers, we got 6. Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Bo Melton, and Malik Heath. We did not keep 7. I thought we might have kept 7 when Grant Dubose having a strong preseason, and a lot of people agree because he got signed to the Miami Dolphins after being released by Green Bay. Just unfortunate. We have a lot of depth here, so guys like Dubose and Toure were not going to make it. So, but I like the 6 we got here. Really, really good players there. And I believe Samori Toure was signed by the Bears earlier today to their practice squad, as well as Julian Hicks, Dimitri Stanley, and Jalen Wayne were also all released. So, Bo Melton made the roster for the first time in his career, so good for him there. Tight ends, we got Luke Musgrave, Tucker Kraft, and Ben Sims. Released Joel Wilson, Messiah Swinson, and Henry Pearson. And Tyler Davis, who would have been the fourth guy, special teamer, is placed on IR. So, 3 tight ends, Musgrave, Kraft, and Sims. Hopefully, these guys can all stay healthy, especially you, Luke Musgrave, because I think these two here could be a really good dynamic duo, so I like the tight end group. One of the more surprising things, we kept 10 offensive linemen. Rasheed Walker, Elton Jenkins, Josh Myers, Sean Ryan, Zach Tom, Jordan Morgan, Jacob Monk, Andre Dillard, Kadeem Telfort, and Travis Glover. I was surprised that Glover made the team, to be honest. I thought he might have been released and put on the practice squad, but the Packers like him enough to keep him on the 53-man roster. Not really any surprises here. All these guys are really good. Jacob Monk had a pretty strong preseason, so good for him there. Andre Dillard, it's going to be a really good backup tackle because he had an excellent preseason after kind of being a wash the past few years after being a first-round pick. So he could be a really solid backup tackle, especially if Rasheed Walker struggles. He can come in and play left tackle for Green Bay. Released Royce Newman. Finally, he is gone. He has been absolutely garbage the past few years as a starter. I'm just happy he's gone. Caleb Jones, Luke Tenuta, 2 guys who were developmental that were on the practice squad for a few years, didn't really turn into much. Then we had Ceta Smith and Donovan Jennings, who was a UDFA out of South Florida. Donovan Jennings, I hope, got signed into the practice squad. I think I saw that he did. Keep an eye out for him as a developmental piece. He could be really, really good. So, yeah, 10 there on the D-line. Defensive ends, we have Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, Lucas Van Ness, Kingsley Enagbare, Brenton Cox, and star of the preseason Aaron Mosby. Re-released Deslin Alexandra, Keyshawn Banks, Zach Martin, and Brevin Allen. So Aaron Mosby had a very, very good end to his preseason. His effort against Baltimore is what really sealed his spot on the roster. He's going to be a sixth guy, but absolutely stoked for him. He earned this spot on the roster, so good for him. And yeah, so these four top guys I think are going to be really good rotation pieces, especially Van Ness and Enagbare, and Cox and Mosby kind of be spot snap guys, so good for them. D tackle, pretty predictable. Kenny Clark, TJ Slayton, Devontae Wyatt, Carl Brooks, and Colby Wooden. Pretty obvious those are going to be the five they're going to roll it. Release James Esser, Spencer Wagee, and Keontae Shad. IR designated to return is Jonathan Ford, a former 7th round pick for Green Bay. So got that there. So not really surprising there on the defensive line there. Linebackers, Quay Walker, Isaiah McDuffie, Eric Wilson, Edrin Cooper, and Tyrone Hopper. We released Christian Welch, which I always thought was surprising. He had a very strong preseason, and I thought he would be a really good special teamer for Green Bay, but he instead got released. He got picked up by the Ravens, so hopefully he get a little more playing time there because he wasn't going to get past these five here because McDuffie, Walker, and Wilson are the veterans there, and Cooper and Hopper are the rookies, I want to say, on the team. So, yeah. Fortunate to see there. Cornerback, a little surprising here. Jair Alexander, Eric Stokes, Keyshawn Nixon, Carrington Valentine, and Corey Ballantyne. They released Robert Rochelle, Kalen King, Jermon Green, and LJ Davis. I did see Rochelle and King were signed to the practice squad, so we at least got some depth there if any of these guys go down. And so, yeah. I was happy that we got able to keep King. We'll get into that later because there's some guys in the safety room I was very surprised they released. Safety, Xavier McTinney, Javon Bullard, Evan Williams, Zane Anderson, Keaton Oladapo, and surprising release, Anthony Johnson Jr., the 7th round rookie who had very good flashes last year, got released and he got picked up by another team. It's just, that was shocking to me that he was released because, yeah. And then Benny Sapp, 3rd. Yeah, I don't know why we released him. He shouldn't have made this active roster. I'm dead serious. And the specialists, we had Greg Joseph, Danny Whelan, and Matt Orjic. Greg Joseph did not, eventually got cut earlier today. Released Anders Carlson, Alex Hale. So, yeah. That's it for the active roster right now. So look at the transactions here. Earlier today, Greg Joseph was released. We do have another kicker. We signed a rookie kicker that was on the Titans preseason roster. I forget who he is. We'll look him up in a bit. Deslin Alexandre, Sean Clifford, James Esser, Alex Hale, who's part of the International Player Pathway Program, Julian Hicks, Donovan Jennings, Kalen King, Nate McCrary, Elias Merriweather, Robert Rochelle, Lasita Smith, and Messiah Swinson were also in the practice squad, as was Jalen Wayne. So that's who the practice squad looks like right now. And then Packers kicker news. Braden Narveson is who it is. Narveson is signed. He's part of the 53rd-man roster who is replacing Greg Joseph. And Narveson is actually went for 6 or 7 yards this preseason, including a 59-yarder. Hit both of his extra points. The only kick he missed was a 58-yarder. And in NC State, he did miss about 78% of his kicks, but importantly, he made all of his extra points. So it seems like he's a bit more accurate in shorter range kicks, like from the 40 and below, and including the extra points, but struggles a little with distance. But we just need some consistency inside a 40-yard field goal because Anders Carlson last year was missing 33, 35 yarders and missed a ton of extra points. So if he can be that consistent inside, I think that will be okay. So that's the Packers roster right now. Let's go and take a look at the depth chart they have listed. Watson, Dobbs starting with Wicks, Heath there, and Jaden Reed, Bo Melton. Then we have Rasheed Walker, Elton Jenkins, Josh Myers, Jordan Morgan currently listed as a starter at right guard, and Zach Tom. They have Dillard, Monk, Ryan, Telford, and Glover. Musgrave and Kraft, Sims, Jordan Love, running backs Josh Jacobs, Lloyd, and Wilson. Smith, Van Ness, Cox, Mosby, Clark, Wyatt, Wooden, Slayton, Brooks, Gary, and Enagbare. McDuffie, Hopper, Walker, Wilson, Cooper, Jair and Eric Stokes starting corners. Keisha Nixon, Carrington Ballantyne, Corey Ballantyne. They have McKinney, Bulliard, Evan Williams, Keaton Oladapo, and Zane Anderson. And so that's who we have here for the Packers. So overall, there was some very surprising news, especially the whole Anthony Johnson Jr. thing. I was pretty shocked by, and the fact that we lost him in the waiver additions sucks. I think he should have made this active roster, and I don't know what they were thinking when they were cutting him. So Zane Anderson, if he does exist, has to be good on special teams because that is the only way they could justify this cut to me. But that's what I got here today for the Packers roster. Let me know who you guys think was the most surprising cut, who was the most interesting addition to the roster, and I'll be with you again very soon. Peace.